Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to announce Smooth Sack Summer. Woo! Woo! Brought to you by your friends at Manscaped with the Performance Package 5.0. It has everything you need to do to prepare that summer bod in the places that not everybody sees, hopefully.
Yeah, unless you throw a summer balls barbecue.
Man, what's wrong with you? When you've played in the summer sun, make sure you've groomed the pubes. Maybe make sure you're groomed from pubes to bum.
That's
okay.
very,
All right.
That's the
very
script.
explicit.
They told us that.
They've done better.
They've done better. Are you calling out the Manscaped people?
Yeah, you just kind of said it. Hey, shave. Like
Your pubes to bum?
That wasn't kind of like a funny pun or anything.
All right. Okay.
No, that's got to be like from the front to the backyard.
Yeah, something.
You know?
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Get your
Okay.
lawnmower out and your dad's shoes on.
You want
5.0.
Yeah.
You want it to like be a metaphor for something.
Yeah, usually that's how the ads go.
Okay, well, fine. No, you know what? I'll put that complaint in to the Manscaped.
They might as well just be like, oh, just trim around your testicles.
Yeah.
And our product's the best for that.
Yeah.
And you know what? You can get 20% off and free shipping. If you want to be blunt about it, manscaped.com. Use the promo code DANGLE. Summertime trimming is easy. 20% off and free shipping when you go to manscaped.com. Use the promo code DANGLE, and I will have a script rewritten. My goodness. Let's start the show.
The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
One name I want to start with.
Jack.
No.
Tim. Donald. Frederick.
Sam Reinhart.
Okay.
Not Griffin Reinhart.
No.
Griffin
Sam will
Reinhart.
one day be as good as him.
Sam Reinhart, the NHL's power play goal leader this year. Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
He scored his regular season and playoffs combined 65th goal last night.
He sure did.
Sam Reinhart's out of contract.
I don't like that.
Why not?
Like, Steve's been trying to do that with Zach Hyman to try and put down Austin Matthews for no reason.
I'm not trying to put down Austin Matthews.
Yeah, the guys.
Steve, why do you hate Austin Matthews?
The guys who played 20 more games have more points than the guys who played 82.
Why'd they
why
play 20 more games?
Why'd they play 20 more games?
Crazy stat there, fellas. Like, the combined regular season and playoff points and goals, like, I don't think it lends itself to mean anything against the guys who didn't play those amount of games.
You're not mad.
Yeah, their teams weren't as successful for sure.
You're not mad.
Reinhart has 31 goals on the man advantage this year. Regular season and playoffs combined, Jesse.
He has 3 in this series.
32% of his power play shots.
32%.
Yeah, connecting on 32% of his power play shots.
That's goofy.
Doesn't it
Also,
kind of matter in aggregate?
It does.
Feels like
I didn't know they tracked that.
Yeah, I didn't know.
And now that I think about it, I don't know why I didn't know they didn't track that, because they track power play save percentage, 5-on-5 save percentage, all that. Like, now I'm sitting here going, is that high? Because it's the power play, right? So it's different. But, dude, he's scoring on like a third of the shots he takes.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal.
That's
think
stupid.
It diminishes Sam Reinhart's accomplishment to even throw in the playoffs there. Sam Reinhart led the regular season.
All right.
Sam Reinhart led the regular season in power play goals.
Yeah.
I believe he leaves the playoffs in goals, too.
He was ahead of second place, who was Leon Draisaitl, by 6 goals. He had 27 goals. Leon had 21. The next closest in third had like 19. He was lapping the field significantly in the regular season. I think that's like when you add the extra playoff goals, you're actually because you're adding all those extra games, you're taking away from the accomplishment that he did in a 1-to-1 where we both played 82 games.
Well, Leon
and he was
Draisaitl is a
still
1-to-1 because he's still playing.
Yeah, okay. I'll take that.
Yeah,
What about everybody else?
Well,
Where he was
already the leader.
he was way far ahead of everybody. Let's not add games and then say he's more far ahead. He's already far ahead. Sam Reinhart's great.
Let's use it to talk smack about Austin Matthews, and I'll find a way to shoehorn Mitch Marner. Like, where is Mitch Marner?
You've been using the Zach Hyman playoff and regular season goals to like count down to when he's gonna pass Austin.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna hit 70 combined and pass
71.
Austin. Dubas is garbage.
He is.
Like I don't like that from the Leafs fans and Steve Dangle.
Yes, but
So why are you doing it?
Because are you aware of the term or the phrase, if I don't laugh, I'll cry? Have you heard of it?
I heard you say it right now.
Yeah, you gotta, no one's gonna twist the knife on me but me. All right? So I don't want someone tweeting that at me. I gotta B-rabbit them and be like, I am white. I am a fucking bum. I do live in a trailer with my mom.
I find that happens.
I gotta do that.
Anybody who remembers that.
Yeah, and so when Hyman scores 71, I'm not gonna get it tweeted at me by some Oilers fan. I'm gonna say it. When Reinhart does it, I'm not gonna get it from a Panthers fan. I'm gonna say it.
I find that the pre-arguing with the imaginary Twitter mentions in your minds happens a lot here.
Oh, bullshit, imaginary. Don't act like they're not gonna come at me by the dozens.
No, they're imaginary because you've pre-argued them. Like, they haven't happened yet. So they are imaginary until they actually happen.
Well, is that your main criticism of 8 Mile? Is that Eminem was pre-arguing, who was the last guy? I don't remember his name. Clarence was his real name. I don't remember his stage name.
What was the guy you went up against? I forget.
Was it Papa
I watched
Doc?
it like last
Well,
week.
Clarence, there was Clarence Parents had a great man.
Yeah, but
that was
his
the second
rapper
round.
name?
Was it Papa Doc?
Oh, I don't even remember.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I forget.
It's been a while. We should we should do a rewatch of 8 Mile and then do a whole podcast about it.
No, they have. So they have all of the battles on YouTube. I watch it like once a month.
Do you really?
It's fantastic
They
stuff.
are?
Yeah. Yeah. No. It's
Even the
fantastic.
Austin Matthews highlights in the summertime.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a classic. That's an all-time classic movie moment.
It's a great.
Eminem and 8 Mile
It's true.
and the rap battles.
Rap battles.
So, the way for Reinhart to get his power play goal, his 31st of the year, his 65th goal of the season, Jesse.
Combined.
Combined, because that's how we track records.
65th goal, Jesse.
What's his line?
What's the all-time goal record by Wayne Gretzky?
It's 92 in the regular season. I don't know what.
Dude,
the playoffs
oh,
are.
yeah.
I bet it's like 120.
That's
Yeah.
legitimately a great question.
Because
And I'm gonna look it
Ovi's
up.
chasing regular season playoffs. Like, that's the thing we're all making a big deal about, right?
Oh, we should. So we should take it away from him.
We're not.
We should take it away from him.
He's chasing the regular season total because that's
Sorry,
how
Ovi.
we context things,
Okay,
people.
so you know what's
They're
crazy?
two different games.
Here's what's crazy. The season Gretzky scored 92 goals and 212 points. How many playoff games did he play?
18.
5.
5.
Yeah,
Five.
Garbage.
5 goals in those 5 games, by the
Did he
way.
get injured?
Oh my
He had
God.
5 goals and 7 assists for 12 points in 5 games.
And they lost?
I'm guessing they lost?
That was the year that Derek Smith put it off his own goalie.
Steve Smith
put it off his own goalie. And
Maybe it was that year?
It was that year. It was 85-80.
Yeah, maybe it was that year.
It was 84-85.
They lost the series
it was,
4-1, and Gretzky had 12 points in 5 games and 5 in 5 goals.
Look it up. It was the 81-82 season.
where he
says-
scored 92?
Yes.
Wow.
Now, here's what's crazy. 2 years later, he had 87 goals in 74 games, so he fell shy of his 92. But in 19 playoff games, he had 13 goals. 13 plus 87, 100. So Gretzky that is, I guess, the most goals anyone has ever scored in an NHL season was the 83-84 season when he had 87 and 13.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
My bad. Sorry. I thought the 92 one came later, but I guess that makes sense.
It's the more I learn about the season he scored 92, the more disappointing it is.
Yeah. Well, the fact that they didn't win.
Well-
that was the third year of the Islanders run?
I'm not sure. Well, it was the third year of Gretzky's career.
So it was the third year of the Islanders run.
And like whenever you hear Gretzky talk about it, he's like, yeah, I should have scored 100
Yeah.
because he slowed down. He like the crazy story I saw on TikTok the other day. I don't know if it's actually true, but when Gretzky was going for 50 goals in 50 games, and there was the potential of getting 50 goals in 40 games. He actually didn't like how much attention it was sucking up from the rest of the team.
Okay.
So supposedly, as the story goes, I'm trying to remember where I saw it. Was it Empty Netters? I don't remember. He just goes to his team before the game. He's 5 shy of 50. He goes, guys, I'm sorry. I'm just going to do it tonight. And then he did.
Oh.
He scored 5 goals.
Oh my God.
So he had 50 goals in 39 games.
Here it is.
Alien.
The 1982 NHL Smith Division semifinals.
That would be Conn Smythe and Stafford Smythe, owner of the Leafs. That's what
Conn
they named it.
Smith Division semifinals. Los Angeles Kings defeat the Edmonton Oilers 3-2. It was a 5-game series.
Yes.
Is that what I'm looking at?
Oh,
by the
best
way,
of 5.
Have you looked
Yeah.
at the scores? Because I got them in front of me.
It's on the screen.
Okay.
Oh, holy shit!
The first game is 18 goals in a playoff game.
10-8.
Yeah, it was 10-8, 3-2 OT, 6-5, 3-2, 7-4 in Game 5.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Gretzky 5 goals, 5 games, 7 assists.
Can I ask who led the Kings in scoring? Was Dion still playing for them?
The Kings, sorry, here.
Daryl Evans.
Darrell Evans
As you would
had
expect.
10 points
There you go.
in 5 games.
Wow.
Bernie Nichols was number 9, 10, and 15 in that season.
All at the same time?
He wore 3 different jersey numbers
Bernie, make a call here.
in one season.
Why are you being difficult?
you-
Bernie?
so-
Imagine you bought Bernie Nichols' jersey at the beginning of the year. I'd be
Right
so mad.
now, that's illegal to do because you set your jersey number. There's a cutoff date in the off season where you have to submit it to the jersey manufacturer to set your jersey number. So you wouldn't be able to do this in modern day.
No.
Guys, like if a veteran gets traded to your team, doesn't like
That's
Nick
different.
Antropov gave up his number for Owen Nolan.
That's different.
Yeah.
If
Oh.
it's in midseason, you're moving to a team, obviously you have to get that number. But to set your jersey for the next following season, there's a cutoff date because they have to print all the jerseys and everything, right?
Bernie
So-
Nichols is like, hey, that's my childhood locker combination. But Maddie, Maddie Mike.
No, I was just gonna say, like, what do you think? Why was there 3 different numbers like that he picked? Like, why was he like, oh, 9's not good, I need 10?
Was he traded midseason?
Might have been.
Was he traded twice?
Yeah, maybe.
Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't know.
That's fun.
I was like, if he was with the same team, that would be.
I'll look him up.
Bernie Nichols, greedy, by the way, led the team in shots, only 3 goals. Pass the puck, Bernie. Pass the
Is this
puck.
81-82?
Yeah.
He was not traded, but it's not entirely impossible that the Kings were being difficult with him because it's his rookie year. And so they might have just given him a number he didn't want.
There you go.
So yeah, Bernie Nichols, all-time Kings great, by the way, had a career high 150 points, and nobody talks about it.
Damn.
150 points at a season, that is.
It's surprising how young this Kings team is. You look at these ages of some of their top players, 18, 20, 20, 21, 21, 21, 22, 22, just all 22 and under, half the roster.
And Larry Murphy is a Hall of Famer.
I need the hot takes like from 82. Like, are the Kings the better young team? I need to know.
The Oilers were surprisingly young as well.
They might, someone said it.
I don't know if it was hot takey back then the same way that it is
Hey,
now.
listen, they went head to head and one of them won. I'm going with that one.
So if you look at the Oilers, they didn't have a player they had one player over the age of 28 on their entire
That's
roster.
nuts.
And it showed. If they had some veteran gumption, they might have won.
Wow.
And it was Gary Unger, of all people.
Yeah.
Wow.
He didn't even play every game, play 4 games.
Gary Unger, who wasn't younger. What-a-pep-a-pep.
Stop it.
I'm on a friggin' roll.
Kevin Lowe's on
Going
that
nuts
team.
today.
Yeah, that the Oilers team is just full of.
Yari Curry, Mark Messier, 21. Paul Coffey, 20. Gretzky's 21. Kevin Lowe's 22.
That's Gretzky's
Wow.
like 4th professional year, by the way, because he had 2 in the WHA.
Well, here, let's play a game. Hall of Fame, I don't think so. Hall of Fame, I'm not sure. Hall of Fame, maybe. Like
Check the goaltending too. Check the goaltending.
Oh yeah, Grant
Grant
Fuhrer.
Fuhrer.
Yeah,
Wow.
Hall of Fame.
19! 19-year-old Grant Fuhrer. What the hell's going on in 1982?
They had an owner who wanted to spend
Yeah, hold on.
$0.
Did Grant Fuhrer allow 26 goals that series? In 5 games?
1982, dude.
His save percentage was an .853, guys.
Dude, you throw any 19-year-old into
The 80s.
well, you throw a
you
19-year-old
imagine?
into the Stanley Cup playoffs this year and make them play the whole series.
A
Guarantee you they get lit up
19-year-old?
similarly.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Like what?
That's crazy.
How old is Devin Levi?
Older than that.
No,
Not much
that's
older.
not
than
an
that. No,
answer.
I know. My bad.
Here, I'll check it out.
Devin Levi. Sorry, you wanted an immediate answer. I got you one. 22.
22. So Devin Levi 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine there's like, okay, you're the starter.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
Like Grant Fuhr would have been finishing up his first year of university, and Levi would be graduating. You know what I mean? Like that's the difference. 19 madness, absolute madness.
And then it's crazy that all of these guys who we had the laugh conversation last episode about, hey, you're rushing a prospect and all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All these guys who were extremely young, they made the playoffs and they turn out to be Hall of Famers, even though they started out so young and they were kind of rushed to the NHL based on how this looked. But they weren't rushed because they had the talent.
Well,
It's Wayne Gretzky.
One thing that's difficult, like especially when doing trade trees, is it's difficult to know unless it's written out plainly what management's motivations are, right? So like, oh, they're stupid. Why did they make that decision? Okay, did they think it was the right decision or were they just cheap?
Yeah.
Here you go, teenager.
Yeah. Or if you just look at things in the context of those decisions, like Nazem Kadri, let's say Steve Dangle 25 years from now, there's another version of you.
Yes.
Like baby Leo comes up, and he's making YouTube videos and he says,
Oh my God.
why would the Maple Leafs trade Nazem Kadri for this and blah, blah, blah. And then you explain, you and your elder statesman, hey, here's the context of why that happened.
Listen.
But if you just look at it as the Hockey DB hockey reference page, you don't understand the context of everything that went on with him at the time. So that's so crazy that you go back to the 80s and you're like, I need like talk radio from the 80s to understand this move.
Like you got to be careful because like sometimes it'll look like someone's a healthy scratch in the playoffs or something like that, and then like you got to find like a news article from 1994 that's like, oh, he like broke his leg.
He was
or,
drunk.
Like, like
It's
oh,
the 80s.
there's all sorts of shit. Like you can't.
Okay, all right. I got it. I got something for you. We've stumbled upon a legendary game in Los Angeles Kings history. Can you name
Is this
it?
the Miracle on Manchester?
Miracle on Manchester.
No
This is game
way.
5.
You know about this game?
So this game,
Tell me.
let me tell you about it. So the game starts. This is, by the way, very Toronto Maple Leaf.
Which game is this?
This is game 5.
Game 5.
Okay.
Holy shit! Wait, the deciding game
Oh, wait,
of the
no,
series?
this is game 3. Game 3.
Oh,
game three,
okay,
game three,
okay,
game
okay,
three.
game
But this
three.
is where, because they thought, okay, LA's toast. The Edmonton Oilers were a favorite to go deep in the postseason, and it's not gone well. So game 3, it starts off with Mark Messier scoring in the first, Gretzky scoring in the first shorthanded, Lee Fagolin, Edmonton great, also scoring shorthanded in the beginning of the second, Risto Siltanen, 4-0 Edmonton, Wayne Gretzky on the power play, 5-0 Edmonton. And we're going into the third period now.
Yep.
LA Kings, Jay Wells from Marcel Dion and Larry Murphy. Okay, 5-1, whatever.
Yeah.
Doug Smith, power play, 5-2. And that's 5:58 at 14:38. So we're now down to the last 7 minutes of
That's
the game.
crazy.
Charlie Simmer scores for the Kings, 5-3. Matt Hardy, not of the Hardy Boys,
Delete. Delete. He's deleting the deficit.
from a guy named, and remember this name, Steve Bozick and Larry Murphy, 15:59, and with 5 seconds to go on the power play, Steve Bozick scores from Mark Hardy, and Marcel Dion, and we're tied and we're going. And then I guess in overtime, here's what Wikipedia says.
Yes.
In overtime, the Kings almost met with immediate disaster. A bouncing puck was shot in from center ice towards Kings goalie Lassard, and he had trouble handling it properly. So if you're a goaltender. The puck began to slide out of the Kings' net. Lassard, fearing the Oilers would regain possession, decided to leave his goal crease and chase the puck down. He went into a slide, but in doing so collided with Glenn Anderson of the Oilers about 40 feet in front of the Kings' net, and the puck moved even further out of his reach. By that time, Mark Messier had skated into the Kings' zone and took the puck on his backhand. With Lassard out of the net, Messier had the opportunity to score the winning goal in the open net. The Kings' Mark Hardy scrambled to get in front of the net as Messier unleashed the shot. Unfortunately for Messier, the puck rolled off the end of his stick blade, and the shot sailed harmlessly to the right of the Kings' net. The Kings covered the puck on their own around their net. Lassard quickly skated back. Later in the period, the Kings had a scoring chance as Doug Smith entered the Oilers zone with an open lane on the right wing. He took a shot. Fuhr was in perfect position to catch it. He caught it, controlled it long enough for play to be stopped. The ensuing faceoff would restart with to Grant Fuhr's left, so I believe that was his glove hand.
Yes.
And
no, he was a righty.
Oh, he's a righty. Okay, so blocker side.
Oh, Jesse's got it up on his
hold,
screen.
let him continue.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Kings head coach Don Perry sent out an all-rookie forward line. You imagine Keefe doing this?
Yeah.
All-rookie forward line. Bozak left wing, Smith at center, Darrell Evans on the right wing. Smith won the faceoff from Mark Messier, gently drew the puck back. As the puck slid back, Evans skated in behind Smith and immediately started swinging his stick back and took a slap shot. The shot swiftly headed towards the upper portion of the Oiler net. Fuhr brought his glove up to make the save, but the shot was moving too fast, and Fuhr was a fraction of a second too late. The puck went in 2 minutes and 35 seconds into overtime, and the Kings won the game.
It's actually a smooth as hell goal up on the screen. And also all-time goal celebration. I don't know how at least 3 Kings didn't break their legs.
So if you wanted to watch what Adam was talking about, the entire thing is uploaded to YouTube by somebody.
I'm telling you.
The whole 2 hours and 7 minutes of the game, you can just find it. Just type in Conn Smith Division semifinals, Game 3, Edmonton at Los Angeles Kings. You can find the whole game there.
How don't you call it the Miracle on Manchester?
I love
If
it.
you type in Miracle on Manchester, it's like the 4th option.
I also
on
want to
YouTube.
say that I don't know if it's legal, but I'm very happy that whoever is doing it is doing it.
Oh, it's for sure illegal.
I love watching old playoff games now while I'm just doing work. So I'll just throw stuff on. I'll throw on old Leaf playoff games. I've been doing it for like 2 months. It's the best.
The hockey's not bad. Grant Fuhr, he's standing really tall.
They all did.
They
No
need
butterfly.
to get the butterfly in there in one of these decades, but the hockey's okay.
So
well, like Patrick Waugh comes in and he's like, I'm going to bend at the knees. And everyone's like, Jesus Christ, we've never seen this before. That's the best goalie of all time.
now, I want to say this. We're talked about Sam Reinhart, and I want to continue.
Like
Sam
half an hour ago?
Sam Reinhart is 28 years old.
He sure is.
He is out of contract. It's going to be very difficult for the Florida Panthers to keep this person because right now, and they have a bazillion UFAs coming off, they still have 34 million committed to their forward group already. And then they've got 17 million committed to their defense, 14.5 million because Spencer Knight makes $4.5 million right now.
Yeah, that's
a big contract.
I don't. That's a tricky situation. Like, surely that guy's got to be on your roster next year.
What, Spencer Knight or Reinhart?
Spencer Knight, but it's not that black and white, right?
It might not be. Now, I want to know what you guys think the chances of our good friend Reinhart re-signing would be, because obviously it's Florida. It's a tax-free state. You never have to shovel snow. It's a great place to play. And what's the number?
I think the odds of Sam Reinhart returning to the Florida Panthers are actually extremely good. I do. You don't lose that player. You move heaven and earth to keep him.
So you move someone else.
Yeah, and Bill Zito is a fidget. Like he's got itchy feet. He likes making moves with his roster. So if you look at the money committed to forwards, to me, the question isn't about Reinhart going and how do they do that. It's how do they move off of some of the guys who make up that 34 million.
So Evan Rodriguez, 3 more years at $3 million.
3 more years. Did they need to give him term? He's a good player.
I think they did. Yeah, I think he had a good year. Carter Verhaeghe, because Evans is center, right? People will pay for that, and he was a UFA. Carter Verhaeghe's got another year at 4.1. You love him.
That's, oh my God, fire your agents.
Sam Bennett, 27 this year, 1 more year at 4.425.
That's not bad either.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
And he's in for a big contract.
Good isn't bad.
Matthew Tkachuk, 9.5. Barkov, 10. Now, they probably have set the precedent that you're not making more than Sasha.
Well, and also, do we want to build our roster like the Leafs?
Nah.
Okay, how about this? Okay, Marner's gone. Do you want Matthews, Nylander, Tavares, or Reinhart, Tkachuk, Barkov? Never watch hockey again if your answer is the first one. Never watch hockey again, ever in your entire life. You want Barkov, Kachuk, and Reinhart.
So you keep those three.
Well, I got to twist the knife. I got to be rabbit, mom spaghetti, and all that. But like, this is a team that they're 2 games away from their second straight Stanley Cup final. Mm-hmm. Right? And the narrative for years and years was the team has never won the Stanley Cup with a double-digit player. Mm-hmm. Vegas ended that last year with Jack Eichel making 10 on the button. But then, the Florida Panthers are going to be like the closest thing to what the Leafs have done.
Yep.
If they were to keep Reinhart, right? With these 3 huge money guys. And I just can't imagine. I don't think you can replicate Sam Reinhart in the aggregate. Moneyball.
Oh,
One of Steve's movies.
there's the bingo.
Yeah.
There's a free square. Steve brought up Moneyball.
I don't think you can do it.
Doesn't Jonah Hill put on a great performance?
He really does.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. Looking Brad Pitt.
Is losing fun?
And then Adam goes, Dubas reads this book.
Yes. And that Carlson trade sucked. I actually got a
What's
hilarious.
the book called?
Score takes care of it.
It's called Hanshu, the world's most boring thing. Sorry.
That's mean.
It's called Watch the Games, nerd.
It's called I'm Being Difficult. Yeah. And I like it.
Yeah, but what about?
Yeah, but what about
Yeah,
the
it didn't work last year, but here's why it will this year.
A dork's
Change
guide to
nothing.
being
A Kyle
a problem.
Dubas story.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Sorry. I'm just being mean.
I'm bugging.
Can I bring it back to Reinhart?
please.
Because I was trying to remember, because Pierre LeBrun did some reporting through the winter months and the spring months about Sam Reinhart. It was a couple months back, I think 3 months probably now. He was on Insider Trading, said that on the open market, Reinhart usually gets a deal that's in like $10, $11 million. But what he's hearing is that he's going to come in under Kachuk. So that's kind of what they're projecting.
Going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
At the time, the reaction from all Leafs fans is, why does everybody take a discount to play in the markets? And no Leaf will ever
It's
do that.
because of the tax-free part, but
Yeah.
also because of the Sun part, but also because they win part.
And then to follow that up, a month ago now, on April 3rd, I think it was, he spoke to Reinhart in his camp and to find out some more info on all that in the negotiations, because he's the biggest UFA that's out there right now. And he wrote this in The Athletic. He said, there have been very preliminary discussions between Reinhart's camp and the Panthers, and both sides have a desire to get it done, which means it's going to happen. Yep. But there haven't been any meaningful negotiations as of yet.
Well, there shouldn't be right now.
And Reinhart told LeBrun, I've got all the confidence it's going to work out. I'm very comfortable with where it is. Billy respects that. He knows there's bigger things chasing a cup that I'm worried about too. Indeed, this is LeBrun. Indeed, the feeling that it's going to work out is mutual.
So sorry.
No, I was going to say the overarching story, if you want to bring it back to the Leafs and NHL players, everybody likes to take a discount to play in Florida. No Leaf ever wants to do that. And this deal's going to get done with Sam Reinhart.
You know what's interesting? First off, I met Sam Reinhart at the Pepsi booth.
Yes.
And he at All-Star game, and he's a lovely guy. And he wore a very nice shacket. He had a very nice. He was well dressed.
A shacket?
A shacket. It's like a jacket, but it's also a sweater. You see, so it's like a little. It's like it's a.
Wouldn't that be a swacket?
No, it's a shacket. That's what they call them in fashion.
Okay.
If you knew fashion the way I do.
I protest the name.
Now, well, listen, you're too late on that one. That's about 10 years old. Get with the times. Jesse knows what a shacket is. But I want to say, see, Jesse knows.
All right.
What does that
putting
mean?
Jesse on the spot.
Oh, I'm supposed to go.
right.
Oh, it's legitimate then.
Well, you should.
Sam
Who's the best
Reinhart.
for us? But what I want to say about this that I find interesting, in comparison to the conversation we had last week, which had a lot, people were fired up about the way you reacted to the numbers that I threw around about Domi and Bertuzzi.
Yeah, they're really shitty numbers that shouldn't be signed. Continue.
So, first off, an agent is going to ask a lot. Like, for instance, when the Leafs were negotiating what turned out not to be Jack Campbell's extension, Kurt Overhart was asking for $7 million a season.
Was he actually?
Yes. Sure. That's what the number started at. Now, remember, the Oilers went in and they paid $5 million a year. And remember that at that time when the Leafs were talking to Jack Campbell about this, he was outstanding. He was a great goalie, and then after November stopped.
You can't have the worst contract in the NHL if you're in the minors.
That's right. So the whole idea that an agent would say to a reporter, in this case Pierre LeBrun, hey, we're expecting it to be here. the agent's job is not to give Pierre LeBrun an accurate picture of where they think it's going to end.
No.
The agent's job is to go, I need to get the most money for my client. So the money that we were talking about in that article clearly comes from the agents, because the Leafs are not going to discuss price with anybody.
Well, and you, by putting the number out there,
You set the market.
You've set the market, but you've also set the expectation.
Mm-hmm.
So Max Domi 6. Oh no! And you got people going, what about 5? I'd even go as high as 5.5, and then he signs for 5.75, and you go, whew.
Yes, totally.
Which is still, that's a horrible number for that player.
Yes.
Terrible, especially at term. No, absolutely not.
And I think that we have to all remember these things as they come in. But also, the fact is, like, if you want to look at numbers in with Sam Reinhart's case, I think there's something playing into this that people are not really thinking about. They're just thinking about Florida Sam Reinhart. And I am old enough to remember Buffalo Sam Reinhart.
Oh yeah,
who used to score 20 goals a year and had to live in Buffalo in the worst period of Buffalo hockey, which has continued to this day pretty much.
Yeah, it hasn't ended.
Still hasn't ended. Where Sam Reinhart was expected to do a lot of stuff along with Jack Eichel and a couple other guys with a team that was terrible, with an ownership group that frankly cared about the Bills. And I think the whole thing is Sam knows what it's like to play for a crappy team in a good market. Buffalo's a great hockey market.
great market.
He knows what it's like,
A cold one.
to have a bunch of snow dumped on you. So he's probably like, I'm going to be a millionaire anyway. Here are my buddies. We're all at the perfect age to take several runs at the Cup.
This is how I know I'm such a peasant. I'm like, what's the difference between $9 and $12 million a year, really? And I know the answer is $3 million.
Yeah. Well, it's the equivalent of, $1 million. If you want to make $1 million a year, you got to make $80,000 a month. So it's the equivalent of roughly 80 times 3, so $210,000 extra a month.
So
it's a lot.
That's an extra yacht you could buy. That's
Yeah,
pretty nice.
It's a lot of money. Now, there are tax implications.
Yeah,
And by
yeah.
the way, the CRA is about to make it real difficult for Canadian teams to sign free agents if this Tavares thing goes through, because that's going to be bad.
And also to rent homes.
Yes. But the reality of the situation is that I think Sam Reinhart knows what it's like to play somewhere cold, to play somewhere where he is there's too much expected of him, right?
Expected by whom?
Exactly.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, funnily
Like
enough. And I also think that, not that he can't lift huge weight on his shoulder, but he was in Buffalo. He was playing a role that he could not possibly succeed in, which is the team wasn't very good. And he goes to Florida, and all of a sudden, if you look at his numbers, he jumps from like 50 points to 94. It's crazy what he does. It's where is it here? Is it 80? No. He was 40 to 82.
Yeah, that's right here.
94 was this year.
This player,
40 points to 82 points.
this-
Now, I know it's 54 games to 78, but still.
this player, over the course of his career, is going to make $100 million.
Yeah.
He's going to make $100 million. So let's say his deal with Florida is 9 times 8, which would be a heist. A heist. He had 57 goals as a UFA. It's a heist. If he signs for 9 times 8, it's $72 million on top of the 28.4 he's already made.
And this is why the Toronto Maple Leafs should wait until he signs his extension.
For what?
Because they can say to everybody else, okay, Sam took that. That's what Sam's worth on a winning team. We have a team with a ton of talent that makes the playoffs every year.
Nah.
You're not making that.
Doesn't work.
You don't think so?
Doesn't work.
Why not?
It's not the same.
I think it lends itself to the discussion of, hey, this is different than there. Like Buffalo is different than Florida. Toronto's different than Florida.
Yeah.
Sam Reinhart's willing to take that deal. If Sam Reinhart's a Toronto Maple Leaf, no way he's taking $9 million.
I mean, what do the Florida Panthers have that the Leafs don't besides a better team, better weather, better tax implications?
They have. You can't swim
No
in
one's gonna
fresh water.
fuck it.
You can't swim in fresh water.
Can't swim in
You can
fresh
swim in our
water?
fresh water 3 months of the year.
You can't swim in Florida?
Well, if you like gators.
Oh, you mean? Oh, I thought the water was toxic or
No,
something.
no. The water's
Oh,
great.
you just mean like they're gonna eat you?
Yeah. Is there fresh water? Yes.
We don't
Them
call them,
gators.
we don't call them that anymore.
What do we call them?
Swamp puppies.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, no one's gonna bother you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to deal with mean tweets, and I don't like shoveling the driveway.
See, I
And
think
I don't like.
I think that's. I
I want to go to the
discussion.
Stanley Cup final.
I was having that discussion on my.
I like Paul Maurice's jokes.
on my stream the other day,
Yeah.
and I think that the players that run to those markets
Win.
for
Shut up.
you're being a little sassy pants. Okay,
I know.
being a little sassy.
I didn't
pants.
mean to hit my mug on the mic.
Tampa is not a market you can hide. They've won a bunch of cups recently.
I know.
Right? Who else won? Who else has won recently?
Vegas, Colorado.
Vegas. Can't run in Vegas. Can't run in Colorado. Right?
No, it's too hot.
No.
Oh,
it's
Colorado. No, it's too.
there
hot.
are enough people that would know who you are.
Yeah.
And what's happening, and what's been great about South Florida being so successful, about Carolina being so successful, and then there's the Coyotes, but we don't have to talk about them anymore. Utah is going to be extraordinarily successful. Okay, is these guys are becoming celebrities in their markets. So this whole idea that Toronto and Montreal and some of these other places are the only places that you go as a hockey player and people recognize you, that is going away, and it's going away quickly. The
It's
only
more.
place here's the place. Here's the place. You know the place you can get away? New York. There are so many more famous athletes than you in New York. So many more. But places like the Nashville Predators are going to be celebrities. Yeah. The Florida Panthers, after this run and last year and the year before, celebrities.
New York's so funny because it's like, whoa, look, a celebrity, and everyone's like, so.
Yeah, well, no one cares.
But right now it is easier.
It's
Like,
just going to change quickly is my point.
Yeah, but right now I don't think we can compare like the media market of Toronto to the Florida Panthers. You know,
It's not close.
Yep.
Yeah.
Radko Gudas said with his mouth, world champion Radko Gudas, let me put some respect on his name, said with his mouth that part of the reason he signed in Anaheim is because the Canadian media is yucky. So he's like, you know what? I'm kind of old. I'm going to cash out and sign with a bottom 5 sad sack team in this league.
Yeah.
And he's got a bunch of money.
He signed what's called an October to April.
Oh, hey.
He didn't sign to go to the playoffs. He's like, I'm done with that.
Yeah. Oh, man. I don't want to sign with a team
That might do
where,
something.
Like, if someone invites me to a party at the end of April, I can't go. So I'm going to sign with the Ducks, and I'm going to make $4 million a year to do it. Mm-hmm. And Trevor Zegras is going to go meh to people. I'm going to have to stick up for him a few times, and that's fine. But the trade-off
Until he gets traded to the Canadians or something like that. Yeah.
Trade-off is I don't have to, play in the playoffs and all that cumbersome stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I know.
I did that last year. I had to play in Canada a few times. Nah, not for me.
So after watching the game last night,
with this conversation, just one last thing to throw in there. Sheldon Keefe's perspective and the other NHL coaches that reached out to him after he was let go from Toronto and signed with New Jersey.
let me guess, they were all super supportive.
This quote was making the rounds yesterday on Twitter from Kevin McGran. Spoke to Keefe. Wrote an article on Keefe and spoke to him, and this was the quote. "It was a tremendous honor to coach the Maple Leafs," Keefe said. This is in the Toronto Star. "There's a lot that goes into that. I've had a number of well-established coaches in the league reach out to say that I should be happy now that I get to coach in the real NHL. Toronto is quite unique. It's not like the rest of the league." Sheldon Keefe.
Where are all the men?
What a league of losers. Losers. You get to coach in the real NHL where what's the subtext? You get to coach in the real
people don't
NHL where there's no one pays fucking
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah.
Can you please send me that link? I have an edit to make to my fucking book. I got to add that to a chapter. That's the most pathetic quote I've ever heard in the history of this sport. No. Put that shit back up on the screen. It was a tremendous honor to coach the Leafs, Keefe said, being complimentary of the place where he coached. There's a lot that goes into that. I've had a number of well-established fucking losers in this league reach out to say that I should be happy that I get to coach in the real NHL. And then he says, Toronto is quite unique. It's not like the rest of the league. Right.
We care.
No one fucking cares.
Well, the Brat Pack.
Like,
cares.
no. Oh, this is why no one likes Toronto. No. Bullshit. It's the truth. If it weren't the truth, the salary cap wouldn't be $6. There's going to be an NBA player making more than your entire favorite fucking team in the next half decade. Oh, you get to coach in the real NHL. What a bunch of fucking losers. Gary Bettman should seek out whoever the fuck this is and grab them by the collar. What do you mean by that? What do you fucking mean by that? What they mean, the implication, the subtext is explicitly no one watches the NHL. It's a non-factor in North America. There it is in plain English. Plain fucking English. And anytime you have a criticism, if you don't like it, then just don't watch. Well, then no one does. No one does.
And yet,
These guys, the Stanley Cup playoffs are getting their asses kicked by Caitlin Clark. She plays in fucking Indiana. Dude. Because she's a star. She's a star. And the NHL doesn't have those. And if they ever get one, they criticize them, they beat them down, and they don't like them. Standing out is a bad thing. There it is. He's probably quoting coaches who have won Stanley Cups, which means the greatest winners in the National Hockey League are losers. And that is a terrible, terrible place for your league to be as a sporting league, as a product, and as something to make money on, which is the goal, by the way. Welcome to the real NHL. That should send a shiver down Gary Bettman's spine. Okay, where should I put my money? Should I put it here or there? And not that fucking place.
Oh, no, lots of people lining up for that, Steve. Lots of people.
You allergic to success bunch of baby losers. Welcome to the real NHL. That's one of the most shocking things I've ever heard from someone allegedly working in professional sports. If your name's on the cup, they ought to scratch it off. That's fucking horrible. Holy shit.
It might just be a simple acknowledgement that Toronto is a bigger media storm than the rest of the world.
I also would.
This rant is a great example of what it. Yeah.
Yeah, the comments are gonna be hilarious on this because they'll prove your point.
No, bullshit.
I wish.
Dude, there is a me for every NBA team.
Oh, I know. No, but what I'm saying is that they'll reinforce the point, which is, the poor players in the media. I'm like, well, then watch another sport.
Watch
another sport. It's brutal.
Yeah.
So
you bunch of get back your paycheck.
You should want to work in a market like Toronto where people cares. You should want to be a coach here
because everybody knows. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Because everybody knows the person that actually gets it done here, will be a god. And Brian Burke said that when he took over the job. He's like, it's the toughest job.
Yeah, because he's not
a
coward. He wanted the Toronto job. He embraced the spotlight. Firing him was a mistake. It was an enormous mistake. You know, they eventually corrected it. I think they did some very good things. But firing him and then being like, who should we replace him with? Oh, I don't know, his protege? You fucking idiots.
If you
you replaced him with Dave Nonis, you morons.
Yep.
You morons. Okay, we don't like Brian, so we're gonna put this guy who's worked with him for 90% of his career. You fucking donut. How stupid are you? Anyway, sorry.
If you look at the ratings,
hot about that.
The ratings for Leafs playoff games against the ratings of any other team, you'll understand what we're talking about. And if game 42 in this market means more than any other game 42 in the other markets, that means when the Leafs finally reach a Stanley Cup final, it will mean more than any other market. That's just a fact of the numbers.
Don't tell the Oilers that if they go to the finals.
No, it's the truth about the mass of hockey fans that cheer for this team. So, and you should want to be a part of that. And it's a shame if any coach looks at that and says, I don't want that gig. You know, there's too much pressure. Yeah. It's too much people eyeballs on it. No, you should embrace that and you should want to win here and be the person that can accomplish that.
Here, listen, if you've ever bought a hat, if you've ever bought a shirt, if you've ever bought a seat to put your ass in, if you've ever watched on TV, if you've ever watched a YouTube clip, if you've ever consumed the NHL in any way, shape, or form, just know from that quote, you're not wanted here.
No,
they don't want you. They don't want you. They don't want you.
No, a select
select
group of people who don't want media attention probably don't want.
Listen, it comes down to this. They don't.
That's
They don't. They
shocking
want to do their
behavior.
job, and
Oh
they don't
my
want to be
God.
questioned about
Yeah.
it. That's what it comes down to.
That's shocking.
I think
Annoying to have to answer questions about your work every day. And by the way, I can relate to that because we have plenty of comments criticizing our work every day. And sometimes you go, man, this kind of but then you realize, oh my God, how lucky am I?
it's so much better than the other way.
Yeah.
Where nobody gives a shit.
So when
what
people-
you say.
Yeah, and then August rolls around, and I'm like, I wish someone would call me a fat fuck today. like I could use it. I could use it.
feed me attention.
Like, I'm nom 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 nom. I'll go.
I'm Steve.
How many calories is hate? I'm nom 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 nom. I'll just,
I think
Jesus
I think
Lord,
that it
that's
is-
so shocking.
It's a loser quote, but I also think it speaks to it is a loser quote, but it speaks to a little bit to the old school nature of a lot of these guys are former players.
Yep.
A lot of these guys have come up in the NHL
It's a culture
when
of
it was this whole hiding away in the southern markets or whatever. The reason that the southern markets were like that is because they were new. I can tell you that I don't think that it was easy for any of the original 6 franchises back in the day. I don't think it was easy. I don't think it's ever been easy. I don't think it's easy to coach in Boston. I don't think it's easy to coach in New York. I don't think it's easy to coach in Montreal. I don't think it's easy to coach in Detroit.
Boston never gets brought into
Boston's
this
the
fucking
real
conversation.
NHL. Like, shut up.
New York is in the conference final right now.
Yeah. I don't think
Are we all on drugs?
And Laviolette, have you seen the amount of reporters at his press conferences?
It's New York.
Yeah, so my whole point
Horrifying.
It's also
Horrifying.
It's also there is a bit of a don't be surprised as Mike Babcock, who was one of the guys that put together it's not a coaches union, but it's the coaches group, right? He was one of the big formulators.
Cabal.
Which has helped them get better salaries and that sort of thing.
Sure.
Don't be surprised as he is one of the primary guys still within that group, obviously. If that kind of comes from him a little bit too. And that's
I wonder what the person who said that quote asked for last time he had a contract negotiation. Was it a raise?
anyway.
Where the fuck do you think that money comes from? The sky? It's from people consuming the sport. You loser.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I said earlier.
Naive child.
I don't.
Are you serious?
I don't think that players are going to be able to hide in these markets anymore. They're developed now. Florida's a 25, 30-year-old market. Nashville's coming up on 25 years. Columbus is 25 years. Minnesota's 25 years. Like these are not new markets. And in fact, the new markets, Vegas and Seattle, are exploding. And that's where I think the NHL players of today, sure, they can go and they can hide or whatever. I don't think it's going to happen for very long. And I look at, so when we talk about Sam Reinhart, which was the original part of this conversation, I understand the media attention is going to shift to football in the fall. Totally get that. But as soon as the Super Bowl's done, boys, you're not hiding.
But they're going to try and keep those markets that way with this mentality.
I don't think
They're
so.
gonna-
I don't think so.
100%.
I don't think so because they're going to be worth too much money.
No, but they're not. It's not them. It's the coaches. It's the guys on the ground. It's the guys who have been in hockey their whole life. They're gonna want these markets to stay this way,
Well,
where they can go and hide. And
I don't think
they
the owners
leave
do,
the
though.
real NHL to Toronto.
the owners do
Welcome
not
to
want
the
that.
Real NHL. You fucking losers.
It's loser mentality. There's no
Wow.
question. There's no question.
Well, no, you just want to get curb stomped by every other major sport league. You don't want to do shit when it comes to helping the game and the league grow. You're going to take your paycheck. You're going to take and take and take from the sport, give nothing back, and leave us with a big old bunch of bullshit. And you're going to be even farther behind all these leagues than you already are. You're a disgrace.
Steve, I noticed you're looking down at your phone.
Yes.
And I'm sure it's because you're texting your wife and telling her how good you feel being on AG1 every single day, having that drink in the morning.
It is, actually. And she said, good for you, sweetie.
Oh, that's awesome. You're doing great, sweetie.
Yes.
Jesse.
No, she said, good for you. I quoted her.
Jesse
I don't
is-
paraphrase my wife.
Jesse is influencing. Jesse's our big influencer on this one.
Oh.
That's an AG1 bottle. This is what an AG1 travel pack looks like. I traveled with it.
Ooh.
Because I can.
Now, Jesse was the first one on this show to start taking AG1 regularly. He's been doing it for a year.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain to us, Jesse, what prompted you to take the jump into AG1ville?
It's the easiest way, because I feel like you should take care of your health, take care of your body. I look at it as like the world's best multivitamin. You know, you take this every day. You'll wake up, you take it in the morning, and you know for the rest of the day you have everything you need in terms of protecting your gut health and getting all of the vitamins and nutritions that you need from a supplement. It's perfect.
It's making me behave healthier outside of it, because I'm like, well, I'm AG1 guy now, so I'll have a salad. You know?
Well, it is actually true that the more healthy things you do, the healthier you.
When
it's
you
like a perpetuating
exercise,
thing.
you start eating healthier because you want to maintain your exercise. It is. It's
not like
all rolling down a hill.
Yeah, let me have some AG1, and then 10 minutes later, because you have to give it 10 minutes to absorb into your system optimally. I'm going to wash it down with a meat lover's pizza. Like, it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
You're counteracting anything there.
If you want immune support, you want gut health support, you want B vitamins, probiotics, rebiotics, digestive enzymes for gut support, you get them all with AG1. And if there's one product that we would recommend to elevate your health, it is AG1. And if you want to take ownership of it, try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase at drinkag1.com/SDP. Again, that's drinkag1.com/SDP. Check it out. Now, going on to the rest of the New York, Florida series, I want to ask you guys this.
Wow. Oh, fuck, I'm hot. I'm hot under the collar.
I haven't even gotten to the Blake Wheeler hooking call that happened 59 seconds in overtime.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you guys.
Sure.
We're now a tied series again. It's best of 3.
Yes.
Who wins this series?
Florida, it's a fucking miracle. It's 2-2.
Jesse.
I think that's a gross exaggeration.
All right. Let's
There's
go.
3 games in overtime.
Yeah. No, okay. Oh. So this is the old argument, right? So the games are obviously like the margins are razor thin. The games are super tight. 3 straight games. Believe me, I know 3 straight games have gone to overtime. I want to fucking go to bed. Drew was like, "Oh, great, it's overtime."
No.
Obviously it's really tight. The Rangers are doing what they need to do to stay alive in these games. They had the lead for most of the game, I think. But shift in, shift out, Florida's kicking them up and down the ice, and it's getting worse.
The Rangers, I thought, won the first period, and then the next 2 plus overtime were all Florida.
Yeah.
But your goaltending is also a part of your
Yes.
team. And if
Shesterkin
was the entire reason that the New York Rangers were in that game.
He was spectacular.
And if they get one more save, if they get one more bounce that goes their way, it's 3-1. And then they just need one more win. So I think it's a miscalculation of how things can bounce in either direction in this series because New York's able to scrape together very close games.
Yes.
There's 2 things that go in the Rangers' favor. So this is going to be a deep series now. It's guaranteed to be, I would say, 6 and 7 is deep.
It was always going to be.
Yeah. It's whenever planning for the playoffs. Oh, when do you think? I always plan on at least 6. But two things favor them. One, home ice advantage. They get 2 of the next 3 games in Madison Square Garden.
Okay. All right. And the fans have been loud.
And well, they've been loud, but also just general home ice advantage. They got outshot and outchanced and out all that a lot less in New York. It went a lot more in their favor. The other thing is Game 5, Game 6, and Game 7. That's all the power play opportunities drying up.
Yep.
And the Florida Panthers are axe-wielding murderers on the power play. The penalty kill is pretty good, too. And that, I think, favors the Rangers big time.
Now, I want to know, from your perspective, the 2 of you on this one, if there is one thing when we look back on this series, let's say it goes 6 or 7 games, because it will go 6 games. What's going to be the differentiator for the winning team, for the team you think is going to win? I do think it's going to be the Panthers. But I want to know why you think it is. Like, what's going to be the thing that's like, that was the reason?
Because for the New York Rangers, when Barkov is on the ice is when they get to come up from above water and take breath. That's horrifying. That's one of the best two-way players of his generation. And when his line is on the ice, you're like, all right, we might sort of stand a chance. Bennett, Kachuk, Rodriguez hops over the boards. Hold on for dear life. Do you have the Forsling Ekblad stat?
What stat is that?
The shot attempts, or the Corsi or whatever it was something like 25 4 and 3 against for those two. You don't have a shot. Like, you know, these are, you can get outplayed and your goalie makes a bunch of saves and you win. The sheer mathematical odds of winning your minutes against that combination of 5 men is below 5%. The Rangers don't have an answer for it.
Right.
And what's crazy is the Rangers are 2 wins shy of the Stanley Cup final and 2 wins shy of winning this series. And there is so much more to give from so many guys on that roster. Panarin, I thought, played pretty well last game. I mean, he got an assist, but he hasn't had a great playoff. It's sort of like with Elias Pettersson with the Canucks. He struggled so mightily. He's their, biggest guy. And you go, how have they gotten this far with him playing this poorly? That's sort of Panarin. Zibanejad has so much more to give. Mm-hmm. Kreider's got so much more to give. But the Rangers spend so much time chasing the game. Keandre Miller has not looked good in this series. Jacob Trouba has not looked good.
Do you think he's hurt, by the way, guys? Do you think Trouba's hurt? This doesn't feel like 28-year-old Jake Trouba should not be on the backside of his career.
I'd say Miller more than Trouba. Like, just watching him, there was one shift where he couldn't get off the ice. He was out there for like 2 minutes, and like he wasn't moving his feet. Like, he was just sucking wind. I was a huge proponent of bringing Rempe into the series. He didn't have an impact last night at all. Maybe he has a bigger one at MSG, or maybe you just take him out. Like, I think you need a roster that can skate with Florida now. I kept saying Rempe early in the series. It's not early in the series anymore. Mm-hmm. You're going into game 5. So if you want that, moral boost to get MSG going, fine. But I think you need to skate with Florida right now because they're skating you into the dirt.
Jesse, what do you think?
If I'm GM Chris Drury and I'm going to the offseason, let's say the New York Rangers lose this series, I think it'll come down to team defense. I think you have enough in the forward group where you can piecemeal together the forward group there with the bodies you have to win a Stanley Cup. And there's not really more to add there. You just want those guys to show up because they're capable of it. But on the back end is where I see the faults in the Rangers, where Trouba, I think, on the overtime goal was a disaster where he left the front of the net to go throw a hit and everybody's just left out by themselves.
Bless Blake Wheeler for taking blame.
Yeah,
like, dude, you did that because no one else was there.
Right. And so I don't like his game so far. Keandre Miller's looked like the moment is a little too big for him in a lot of cases when he's on the ice. I don't know if that's an injury. But really he's never been in this position before. And I think he either needs to grow into the role and you need to just get more out of him. And Gustafsson, I don't think has had the greatest series. So I think like you're looking at improvements on the back end and just maybe overall team defense if you're the Rangers, and that ends up being the reason you lose the series. But I think there's a case to be made. You can eke out 2 games here with just some good timely goal scoring. You have one of the best goaltenders in the world, if not the best, and he can always win you a game. And there's definitely a path here to beat through that Florida team that just looks incredible right now.
Now I have to move us over to Edmonton and Dallas, but Steve, I guess you're looking something up.
Sorry, I wanted to, when you were like, Miller's never been here before, I was like, you're right. And then I went, wait a sec. No, he was in the conference final with the Rangers, but it was in his sophomore season. And,
the last time
first ever playoff. Yeah, that was 2022. 2. He actually wasn't bad during that run.
So I got to ask this. Isn't it interesting that 3 of the 4 teams that are remaining in the playoffs
Playing the real NHL?
move the puck fast, move the puck quickly? Florida sets up quickly.
Yes.
New York hasn't been able to set up as quickly, I think, as they want to, but I do think ideally they would.
No, New York's a relatively fast team.
They're fat, and I'm making it about the Leafs. So Edmonton sets up quickly, Dallas sets up quickly. New York to this point had set up quickly, but Florida stood in the way of that, and Florida sets up quickly.
Because their neutral zone's a nightmare.
It is,
Yeah.
and so isn't it interesting that that's the key, and the team that we know and cover most aggressively on this show, they're the anti that.
Yeah,
Well,
they're
they're
the slowest moving puck team in the entire National Hockey League.
It's so good to bring that up because in the playoffs, the emphasis becomes size, and you need to be big in size and tough, and you got to be tough and tough. All those things are important. But you got to move the puck.
Yep.
Oh my God, I might have screamed myself hoarse there. No, you have to move the puck. The most important part of hockey is still hockey. It's still hockey.
Yes.
And I think we very often lose sight of that.
Well, and I think I'll highlight something. Rupe Hintz coming back to the Dallas Stars lineup was an absolute game changer. If you thought, the series was pretty evenly matched, obviously, and then they're tied, and I get it, whatever. But I have to look at, they're not tied. Sorry, 2-1. Excuse me. The other series is tied tonight. We'll find out. I just don't think that after the first period, the Edmonton Oilers, kind of like Game 2, had hope in hell, and especially with that Robertson, Sagan, Hintz line, you just can't. There's no answer for it.
I think Dallas is deeper than Edmonton, and I've said that. And losing Rupe Hintz didn't change that. Dallas is still a really deep team, but Edmonton's high end is so good that you got to be able to respond with one of your own. And losing Hintz, that's one of the most underrated players in the entire NHL. So getting him back, I'm not surprised they won. But he's the kind of player who tilts the series. The Edmonton should be hammering him.
The speed at which he plays, though, is so key for me because, well, first off, I mean, listen, you don't love Stuart Skinner letting in 3 goals in 3 minutes and 33 seconds. A lot of threes there. If you're a numerologist person, you're kind of like, wow, that's your Christmas.
It's like that Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah, I heard that was weird.
It wasn't good.
The first 2, I don't really blame Stuart Skinner at all, but I thought that third one, squeeze the puck. You just allowed 2 quick goals, and then you get a shot into the chest. Squeeze it, Help your team, and then there's a rebound in front. Nobody's there to clear out any of the bodies. Edmonton played terrible defense, I thought, on all 3 goals.
That's the Wyatt Johnson goal?
Yeah, and then I think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And then, but I wanted him to just squeeze the puck, You want to save in those situations where you're getting absolutely caved in. That's what the goaltender's there for.
There are, playoff-style goals and rebounds and all that sort of reign supreme at this time of year. But if you're facing a goalie that's a little suspect, Dallas has shooters. Mm-hmm. Jason Robertson's a friggin' shooter. They can score every single way.
By the way, I think, Jesse, you're talking about the Robertson goal because Wyatt Johnson was open. Robertson was the one where Skinner didn't hug the post well enough, right?
No, not that. That one I thought was the worst of them all. But when they had the 3 goals in the middle of the second period there, the third one, it was off of, there was a rebound in front.
Yep.
And I thought he could have easily just, that's the moment where you need that save. And the fourth one, the squeeze against the post, that one's literally fundamentals. If you want to rag on him for any goal, it's that one. And I thought there's 2 goals there your goaltender can get you if you have just a little higher end in your net, and that's always been a fault for Edmonton this entire series.
It was murder for them, and I on that one. I think the thing with Stuart Skinner is that he's good until he's not. And when you're and I know that sounds hilarious to say, but there are really great highlight Stuart Skinner moments, and it's the team changes the way when he's not good. Mm-hmm. The team knows, and you can see the way they react. They're tentative. They don't take the same risks on offense. And as the Oilers, you look at their high end, they have to. Mm-hmm. You have to do that against Dallas. You got to crash nets. You got to you got to power up Zach Hyman's glutes. Get that butt in front of Jake Ottinger and move that pocket. But what that means
he's like the Hulk. That's the thing. His glutes are always powered up.
His butt is
right.
butt power. Zach Hyman butt power.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the the Stuart Skinner issue is an issue. It's a problem. And once they get in his head, like 3 goals in 3 minutes and 33 seconds, what would we be saying in Toronto? What would we be saying?
Well, okay. Who was the last elite goalie Edmonton had? Where you go,
Grant Fuhr.
they have an option to win any game.
Tommy Salo.
I would say,
Dwayne Rolson on the 2006 run.
yeah, he was unbelievable. I would say single season, Cam Talbot, 2017. He was friggin' unreal. And they played that man 72 games. Or it might have been 73.
Yep.
Cam Talbot.
Yep.
Here you go. Just play till the wheels fall off. So is that Edmonton can't find and acquire good goalies? Or is it the way they play does not invite good goaltending? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it feels like it's the Oilers don't go as Stuart Skinner goes. Stuart Skinner goes as the Oilers go.
Yes.
If they play tight and locked up in front of him, he's great. I feel like his job is unusually hard. Not having the numbers in front of me, maybe he's just allowing every chance that meets.
No, I don't
its
think
way
he
to
did.
the net.
I don't think he did.
No, we've seen him play dialed. We've seen him steal games, and I think it's because of the way the team plays in front of him.
So if we want to do the 2 goals that I think are the most egregious, actually,
Yeah, let's do it.
So the one I thought Stuart Skinner had to squeeze was the second Dallas goal. So
Okay.
it was the second Jason Robertson goal. If you look at it here, the first shot goes right into his chest, and the puck drops right in front of him.
Yep.
I don't know why there wasn't a bigger deal made of this, that there was kind of 2 goals in the game that Stuart Skinner should have had, but I think he should have had this one where it's right in front, and then the puck scrambled, and then Jason Robertson gets it, and he lifts a backhand right into the net.
Yeah, like you'd like a little defensive help there, but everyone is right there, and that should be a simple enough save.
Squeeze this puck, and then this one. 8 minutes to go, third period. Shots are still 20-20. You've been getting caved in since that middle of the second portion, but it's still a tie game, and the Stuart Skinner is right up against his post, and this puck goes in.
That is
After this moment, this goes into the net, and that is absolutely unacceptable from your goaltender.
what's it called when the planets align? Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know he's got to make a save there, but that is quite the structure.
Too. I'll give him. You got to give Robertson. It's no joke that it's Robertson. It's creative,
He's got a piss missile.
but
He can rip the thing. He's a shooter.
Yeah, but he doesn't rip anything. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm just saying he can. He can.
Does that have anything to do with this goal?
Well, perhaps not. But I mean, there's a. Oh, okay. You know what? I'm trying to defend Stuart here. That's fucking bad.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
How does that get through?
Yeah, no, that's bad.
Your goalie needs to make a save at this crucial point of a playoff game.
That's bad.
Here's the other angle. That's bad fundamentals.
I gotta say,
Where even is the moment? He sneaks it through. Is there any opportunity to score a goal?
I want to give Robertson credit for even attempting this. By the way,
you're Matty Mike?
Oh, Matty, yeah.
I just noticed before, if you speed up, you can notice his body move into the net and drag the puck in with him.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
On
That's
the-
kind of what happens, I think.
On the overhead angle, you see it. He kind of hits it in
He goes
himself, and they're trying to save it.
Goes
but
off his butt.
It squeezes in here.
yeah.
It really just feels like a.
I'll show you this angle
Okay, let's see this.
if you want this one. So yeah, it goes in right there.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Robertson just shoots it in this area because Skinner's not against the post, and it just banks off of him and right into the net.
That's unfortunate.
And that guy might win the cup. He's
Who?
seven wins shy. Stuart Skinner. It's crazy. At this stage in the playoffs, I don't know if there's pollen in the air or what. Holy crap. At this stage in the playoffs, anytime I want to be too critical of a team, I go, he still might win the cup.
Oh yeah.
Still might win the entire cup. The Oilers
teams.
are an incredibly flawed team and might win the Stanley Cup. They might. There hasn't been a team that's won the Stanley Cup in recent memory I can think of that's been more flawed than this, and they might win. Tampa didn't really have any. Colorado, Darcy Kemper.
Whatever
Like
it
Vegas-
was, they played Darcy Kemper properly.
Like the Blues were kind of slow.
Yep.
Capitals, I mean, holy crap. Like what a magical run. That was crazy. But like it's the Dallas Stars to me it's 2 conference finals with a clear team that is better than the other. Florida controls the play against New York. Dallas controls the play against Edmonton. All 4 teams still have a great chance of winning the whole thing. You just got to find magic.
What do you think of the Darnell Nurse discourse?
What, that he's bad?
And everybody being like, you got to buy him out, and
Well, you
all the
can't.
overreaction.
Go look at his bio.
We've
You
already
can't.
played this game.
You got to trade him. Like,
You can't.
what do you do with that player?
You know what would help? You know what would help Darnell Nurse?
Time off.
You need to be smart about who you bring in to play next to him. It can't be Cody Ceci. Vinny Desharnais and Nurse have looked better, by the way. There was an instant improvement there in the Canucks series. A little less in Dallas because Dallas is better. They're better than the Vancouver Canucks.
They are.
So, of course, Nurse is going to get exposed. Him and Vinny Desharnais are enormous. They're like 2 gigantic buildings out there. Like, they're huge.
It's got to be the tallest D pair in the league. I think Nurse is 6'5" and Desharnais 6'7".
But if I went to you guys and I told you Vinny Desharnais is going to be in the top 4 of any team that'll win the Cup,
I'd be pretty
concerned.
surprised.
Yeah.
Well,
so
and Stetcher, by the way, we got an answer there.
what happened?
He's having surgery. I can't remember on what.
Oh, that's
so. I guess he's been hurt this whole time.
So then, and listen, you can blame Ken Holland, you can blame Jeff Jackson, you can blame them all for not getting enough defense. I don't know.
I blame
My
them.
point is, you got to use some numbers here and find some valuable players that are going to run with Darnell Nurse because you are stuck with that deal. You're not going to trade that deal unless you want to retain a whole boatload of cash. You're not going to buy out that deal. So you have this player. So what's going to work with this player? And you need to find low-cost options that cycle in every 1 or 2 years to play with this player because he is going to be on your team. He's stapled. You guys are married. Good luck. So find something. And you know what? They've never done that. They've always looked at it's always been like, they kept Cody Ceci twice. They didn't have to. And it's not like I have a hate. I'm not a fan of Cody Ceci as a player. That's no secret.
Except for Game 7s.
I think he's in Game 7s,
Offensive
he's great.
juggernaut Cody Ceci in Game 7.
I think he's an extremely limited player that Edmonton has consistently played too far up in the lineup, just like the Leafs did. Only I'll give Edmonton credit. At least they didn't put him with the first defense pair.
Here, I got it. Cody Ceci, scratch him the rest of the series until it gets to Game 7. Put him in.
There you go.
He wins it.
Next year or this summer when you're building,
Why are you laughing?
find somebody that is going to give you the mobility back there. Because what you do is you need to manage. There are things that Nurse does well. He can.
I think he's a decent north-south player.
Absolutely, and he can kill you if he hits you. You're dead.
Yeah.
You're dead.
Yeah.
He does take stupid penalties though, so you need him to clean that up. He's taken some really stupid ones. Him and Kane have taken some really I'm like, what are you guys doing in this series? But you find some mobility, and there are plenty of cheap defensemen that are mobile. And I think he becomes instantly a better player. I think his deployment's an issue. I think his defense partners are the bigger issue. This player is limited. So what are his limitations and where can we find someone to complement them? And the Oilers have done zero of that.
I totally agree. You have to find a way to make your $9 million defenseman work.
Yes.
It's not about just getting rid of him or playing him less or just playing him how he is. Find a way to make Nurse work because it's in there, and playing him with Ceci isn't it. I know that.
I think there's an article to be written, and I am neither smart enough nor do I have the platform to do it. The Toronto Maple Leafs pumping up of Dion Phaneuf's stats before his trade to Ottawa needs to be studied. People forget this. Dion Phaneuf, was a good defenseman, but extraordinarily limited and overpaid, right? And what the Leafs did before they traded him was they gave him a ton of favorable minutes and matchups. And then everybody was like, wow, he's looked really good on a objectively bad Toronto Maple Leafs team. And they got Ottawa to bite. And the Leafs didn't have to retain.
Which is crazy.
And that's how good of a job the Leafs did. They pumped. So if you want to do this, If you want to move this deal, you got to make this player look good.
So you've moved off of the make it work, and now you're saying
I think you
trade
make it
him.
work. I think you make it work. Because doesn't he have a no trade clause too?
He does.
I think it's is it limited or is it full?
I think
No,
it's modified 10 team. I can check for you.
So I'm trying to find what it was.
But what was?
Sorry, the injury to Darnell Nurse, because he's battled some significant injuries.
He has a full no move clause, and then it's a modified no trade clause in 2027. So
Good Lord.
yeah, he has to approve any trade.
So the 2022 Stanley Cup playoffs, they went to the conference final against Colorado. June 7th, 2022, it was tweeted, Edmonton Oilers defenseman Darnell Nurse revealed he was playing with a torn hip flexor for the entire playoffs after his team was eliminated.
Oof.
So these conversations never get taken seriously. And I think that's gonna change. It's gonna take a while for that to change. There are a number of defensemen who lose their effectiveness as a defenseman and could probably transition to being a kick-ass forward. And it's not going to happen. And I'm not suggesting it.
Okay.
I'm not suggesting it. No, but like, listen, if he's constantly a liability on your back end, like, could he be a kick-ass net front presence sort of guy? I don't know. We're trying to
Power
figure out-
forward?
Listen, what I'm suggesting is way more realistic than buying him out. They can't do it.
No, they can't. You can't have. Well, it would cost them the same to buy him out as it is to play him.
Yes.
It'll cost them $9 million on the cap in a couple years.
And you're probably going to get murdered in a trade.
Yep.
You're probably not going to be able to make a trade. So you need to find a way to get this player going. And is defense the thing? Or, do you reduce his role? There are a number of defensemen who don't make as much, who have in recent years completely rehabilitated how we look at them.
Luke Shen
Tyler Myers
is
These
doing a
playoffs.
good job. Somebody's going to pay too much money for Tyler Myers.
Oh yeah, he's
Like way too much.
I mean, his nickname is still the Chaos.
Zadorov, even, I would say. And it's not because Zadorov was ever looked at as bad, but people were like, well, he's okay. But this year, Zadorov it's been his coming out party.
If you suggested 6x6 or 6x7 for Zadorov, I would have laughed you out of the room in any other year except this one, because he played great heading into UFA, and I'm like, someone will do it. You know what I mean? It's gonna hurt though to pay someone 9.5 to play the 4th, 5th, or 6th most minutes on your D-core.
Sorry, it's 9.25.
9.25. You got to figure it out.
Funny enough, during our conversation about Darnell Nurse, his media availability in English
Tough word.
dropped today with the Edmonton Oilers and his comments today to the media. And it's worthy of playing because the entire availability lasts 1 minute. And it's extremely awkward. So this is what happened.
What question did Mark Spector ask?
This is what happened in the dressing room today.
Let's see.
What have you sort of seen from him and the time that he's been here, the work he's been putting in, being patient?
Yeah, really good player. He's ready.
Who's he talking about?
Do you have confidence that he can, come?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Really good player.
What is it about his game, Darnell, that you think makes him ready?
Can skate, physical, can make plays.
Connor was talking about you don't necessarily want your back against the wall, but how the team has kind of responded to elimination games. Last series down 2-1 to Vancouver. What would you say about the team doing that when it is a difficult stretch?
We're good with our back against the wall.
The team can play well at this time of year. When Dallas has a push like they did in the second period, what are just some of the keys to stopping it, a little sooner than the other game?
Playing hard. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Oh, shit.
Oh, fuck. Damn, dude. Has the discourse been that bad in Edmonton, by the way, about him?
So
my goodness.
there's something, and
yes.
I need an Edmonton perspective on this because I'm not, Easterner, Toronto, whatever. Okay. I want Oilers fans' perspective on this. There's been like a really snooty, pissy even undercurrent with their players in the media for I would say
Well, 'cause-
I would say over a year.
Now, listen, you say Toronto media is hard. Edmonton media, you have a bad week, and they're like, bury this man underneath the highway.
What if they were dead?
Well, yeah. Have we considered dead?
Yeah.
They will sewer you. They really sewer players there. It's crazy. Like
and on the way out,
oh,
shiv, turn again.
Hey, Shledon, Keefe, Edmonton is also the real NHL. Here's
Wow.
a picture of the media surrounding Darnell Nurse while he talks for about a minute.
No, Jesse, this makes them not the real NHL.
Oh, yes. The markets where people care are not the real NHL.
See, I know this
forgot.
because there's people there.
I forgot, yeah.
They're so wait, if the Oilers win the cup, like do they get the Stanley Cup? They're not in the real NHL. When a team that people care about wins the Stanley Cup, does it count? I need to know.
This is the massive reporters that were there for the 1 minute where Darnell Nurse was fucking pissed off.
How tall is Buddy at the back? What the fuck?
Might just be the angle.
it could also.
Yeah, it could be the angle, but-
some of them get to stand on apple boxes too, so they don't knock into each other.
Yeah.
Oh, what if he's 6'11"?
I don't think he is.
No, I don't think so either. So no, there's been an undercurrent, and
By the way, can I just say one quick thing before you move on?
Yeah, of course.
I love that picture. That is how I want my hockey to look. I want every market to be like that. It's a fucking great sport. It's such a great sport, and it's criminally underfollowed and undercovered, and I love this. And I know it's probably really annoying for Darnell, and I understand why, but I love this shit. I love this.
Adam, what if they were all just, there's one reporter there and he was in shorts and a tank top because it's in somewhere down south and it's the real NHL?
Well, I think
would you prefer that?
that does such a disservice to the reporters down south who are really good.
No, Adam.
I'm sorry. Joe Smith just he spent 15 years in Tampa and he's nobody.
They
gotta work hard.
One of the best
He doesn't
reporters
work
in the league.
he works in the real NHL.
That's right.
Adam.
And now he's where does he play?
This
the
is-
state of hockey.
This is the fake NHL.
Fucking Russo and Joe Smith in the same market.
Yeah.
For the same athletic outlet.
it took you guys a few minutes, but now you're as mad as me, and I like it.
I just want to say I do agree with your opinion, Steve.
No,
but
I-
I just figured I'd get out of your way.
I think we just let you talk.
No, I think there's a lot of times where you're like, I agree, but that's a bit much. And you're fair. That's fair.
Listen, passion's good.
But
Darnell doesn't need to be that pissy.
well, here I want to finish because like over the last year, there have been a number of like snips and like funny faces, and you're like, oh, do they just have that kind of relationship with the reporter? And the more often this happens, the more I'm like, no, they hate him. They just hate them. I don't know if it's a specific guy. I didn't recognize the voice. Like, I don't know.
But multiple people ask questions, you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Like the two people tried to get an answer out of him and he just kept fucking giving them nothing.
Yeah, I've been a part of those. They're fucking awkward, man. Because you're like, well, people want to hear from Darnell Nurse today. They do. So I'm gonna keep asking, and we'll see how it goes. And I don't know. It's your job. Look, like that happened mid-show, and you brought it up. You didn't bring up McDavid. You didn't bring up Draisaitl. Like that's now the story is that Nurse is pissy.
Right.
Or motivated heading into game 4.
you go.
And he's
Yeah.
gonna,
A pissed off Darnell Nurse goes out there, gets a goal and an assist. That was a great game.
If you
wanna
are a
play
Dallas
against
forward,
a pissed off Darnell Nurse, fuck all that.
yeah, I was just gonna say, if you are a Dallas forward, watch out tonight
Oh yeah, you're gonna get cross-checked in the brain.
for sure.
Oh yeah.
By the way, we're going to be down at Boston Pizza tonight in Vaughan, and I'm very excited because we will be doing a live stream. So I will be streaming there in a booth, and we'll see how that all goes because we've never tried this before. So I'm really excited for all that, and obviously we want the ambiance. We're trying to create something here with these streams where sometimes you get to come and like watch them, and then ideally, Boston Pizza's got places across the country. How do we get on Jim Treliving's plane and go to some other ones? Like, don't you think if the Edmonton Oilers go to the Stanley Cup final, shouldn't we call up Jimmy and say, JT, the real JT, Jim Treliving,
I never made that connection.
real JT, can you hook us up with some a BP in Edmonton and we can throw a party there?
Whoa.
Do you think you'd do it?
Yeah.
Definitely, right?
100%.
We'll just call Brad and be like, yo, Brad, Bradsky.
Me and James go way back.
James Treliving.
Yeah, we have a more formal relationship.
Yeah, we got. I wanted to talk about obviously the Darnell Nurse thing is a really great thing to break up. I want to talk about Rupe. I do want to talk about the matchup of coaching in this series. Knobloch and DeBoer. And I think that the experience is beginning to show.
Wow. I mean,
And I don't blame Knobloch for that.
you're talking about a rookie NHL coach against a dude who's been in the Final Four more than basically anyone.
DeBoer
Except
played
for Cooper, maybe.
DeBoer played the Edmonton Oilers on home ice perfectly after the end of the first period.
Oh yeah.
Perfectly.
And now you. So wait, where was?
Because remember, the Oilers were up. They were up big.
Who finished ahead of who? I can't remember. I'm not following this series. as
Dallas
closely as you are.
finished ahead of Edmonton.
Okay, so Game 4 is in
Edmonton. And the Oilers fans were berserk. Like, Zach Hyman scored 2 minutes into the game.
I know.
And people were just, they're just losing their minds.
My bet didn't work.
And then McDavid 5 minutes later.
It's real difficult to imagine Edmonton winning the series if they don't win tonight. Really difficult, man. You're going to lose 2 at home and then go to Dallas and somehow take 2 or 3.
So Nurse is pissed off.
Not even.
You're on home
have
ice.
to rattle off 3 straight. I'm sorry.
Nurse is pissed off. You're on home ice. Guys are going to put you in Chris Knobloch's position. Okay? You're a rookie NHL coach, but you're a very good coach with lots of experience.
Sure.
What do you do? How do you match what you have against those guys?
Oh, boy. You got to make sure your forwards support your D-men because that's, a couple of those plays that we looked at. I thought they could have done a better job of that. The Oilers, we know them for, high-octane hockey. They've actually had a lot of success shutting it down. They're winning 3-2 games. You know what I mean? I think the lower scoring the game is actually favors the Oilers, weirdly, which is not something I ever anticipated saying. But they have enough skill that if they cater to defense, if they cheat to defense, they'll be able to get 3 past Ottinger, who's a really good goalie. They're a good enough team to do it. The D-Corps struggling right now. They got to find ways to support them.
Got it. Jesse, what would you do?
One thing I've been really looking at with the Oilers is their power play because I don't know where it's gone. I don't believe they have a power play goal this entire series.
Regression.
What do you mean?
Well, I feel like most series, I'm like, well, here's what this team does differently. And this is, I'm sure Dallas is. You can't score 30% of your power plays all the time. Or 50% or whatever goofy number it was. The Oilers are... Do you have, the league standing?
I think their Oilers are at 34.5 or 35% is their power play right now.
35 after being cold for a few games?
Yeah.
That's stupid.
They were in line to challenge for the greatest power play percentage in the playoffs all time.
And they're probably the greatest, of this generation.
Yeah, no question.
The number starts with a 3? That's, I'm sure Dallas is doing things differently. The puck was eventually going to stop going in sometimes.
Yes.
For the love of God.
Yep.
What, did you just crack the code and you get a free goal every time there's a penalty? No, it can't work like that.
Jesse?
Permanently.
I think if you look at their power play where they had 1 goal in their last 6 games, that's a little more than regression. I think that's a dry spell that if you're the head coach, you have to figure out for your team to get out of because there aren't many goals at 5-on-5 because defensively the Dallas Stars are so good that it's hard to get anything past them. So those are the opportunities I think you got to look to take advantage for, and you got to get them going somehow. And if it's Dallas taking away the Leon Draisaitl spot, you don't allow Draisaitl to get that almost rock star zone shot off, and you got to find some other way to break through.
Dallas is kind of built to be a good PK team. Huge defensemen, mobile forwards. It's what you need. Just attack. It's not about holding the fort. Friggin' run around and attack, and if guys go to the net, beat the shit out of them. It's playoffs. Beat them up.
All right, and before we get to the press conference, I haven't seen a whole heck of a lot of information floating around about everything else going on in the league right now. Obviously, we I've been looking for other things, other stories. Hasn't been a lot.
A lot of head coach stuff.
Yeah, Seattle hired a new head coach.
Yeah, actually, good point. Dan Bylsma.
I was surprised. Well, I was surprised, and the more I looked into it, I shouldn't have been. So he hasn't been a head coach in the NHL since 2017. That was surprising. That you give him a job after that big of a gap. But they really like the work he's done with their AHL affiliate. Seattle's probably going to graduate a bunch of guys. That's just sort of how they're building. I feel like they're a very process-oriented, plan-oriented front office. And they're like, we're going to try this guy. We'll see how he does in the AHL. If he does well there, then maybe we'll bring him up to the NHL. He's done basically everything they've asked him to do.
Well, and what I thought was interesting, guys, is the fact that the previous head coach was you'd say they're process driven. The previous head coach was fired, as reported by ESPN's Emily Kaplan, because players said, "I won't be back if Hackstall is."
Yeah, that's a wild thing. Well, and also who, because
I
no
think it would be a
offense.
good player.
Well, the Kraken aren't built around stars, are they?
Yeah, but who's your best players? It's got to be your
You're probably
Beniers, your McCanns, your
I'm thinking along the lines of the young guys.
Shane Wright.
Well, so Bylsma knows Shane Wright. This is probably great for his career. So I would imagine, you don't want to throw a name out there, but like with Columbus, for example, it sounds like they took the Babcock stuff seriously, not just because it was serious, but it involved, a potential cornerstone of the franchise for the future.
Yes, a young player was, and also the PA got involved. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
PA actually got off their asses and did their job.
That too, but Seattle is still only a couple years removed from being an expansion team. It's like, okay, you guys are mercenaries. Like, we're a few of you are going to stick around, but okay, some guy on our second, third line. Oh, I'm not going to be back if Hackstall. All right, whatever. I imagine it was a cornerstone piece of their team.
Yep.
And I know who my assumption is, but you never know.
With that story as well, it looks like there's a shot that Jessica Campbell, who's the assistant with Bylsma at Coachella Valley, could become one of the ever first female assistant full-time head coach on a NHL bench. What I said, coach on a NHL bench, which is cool.
Has there ever been one?
First ever full-time.
So I would say no.
Yeah, first ever full-time coach, female coach on assistant.
It went to overtime last night.
Yeah, it's okay.
Leave me alone.
So that's potentially something to watch. Who knows? Maybe she gets the gig as the new Coachella Valley head coach to replace Bylsma. That would be interesting
That'd be
as
a big
well.
deal
But
too.
she could also be just a part of his staff there. The other hiring news: Don Waddell was officially hired by Columbus, and he got upgraded titles. He's the alternate governor, president
Of hockey ops, yep.
and GM at the same time right now in Columbus, which is a step up from the Carolina gig. And he has the entire keys, it seems like, in Columbus. So maybe there's a turnaround for them in that franchise. CJ was talking about how he was in Prague, and Marty Nichas was there openly talking about, hey, this thing isn't working out in Carolina. I'm an RFA and I'm going to move on and get a trade. So that's something to watch for this offseason, who acquires Marty Nichas there. And then the other thing was, what was it? We never touched on Scott Arniel being hired in Winnipeg.
Oh, yeah.
They also have a new head coach now. So do you guys have any thoughts on either
Well,
of
other
those
than
stories?
Mike Commodore being Mike Commodore about it, and he went
What
on
is
and
that?
explained it. Mike Commodore just shit talked Arniel, and I guess
Oh,
it
shit.
came
Gave him
down
the
to
Babcock treatment.
Yeah,
Oh,
it came
shit.
down to, I guess, an interaction the two of them had when he was in Columbus, and he thought Arniel was a bad coach.
I
frankly.
had no thoughts on that.
I don't have an opinion on Arniel. I don't.
And then
No offense, it's just kind of a boring hire, right?
sure, he's
you
not
know-
a sexy hockey name, I guess.
Well, it's an organization hires guy who's been in and around it forever. You know what I mean?
Bylsma was fun too because he's currently in the playoffs with Coachella Valley. He has to go coach some games and finish out the Calder
Oh,
Cup.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
they're
funny.
still in the playoffs, which is fun. There's Jonathan Marchessault is upset with the Vegas Golden Knights. He told the Las Vegas Review-Journal, I did not have a call or anything yet. They said they were interested to definitely re-sign me, and we'll see. Technically, they have until June 30th, so we'll see how that goes.
Okay, it's May 29th,
That's
dude.
David Schoen of the Las Vegas Review-Journal who had that quote.
You know what? He's worn the jersey. He's won the cup. He's won the Conn Smythe. But that was the moment Jonathan Marchessault officially became a Vegas Golden Knight.
When he's pissed with them?
Got mad at the Golden Knights about his contract.
Yeah, I don't know what he's
Absolutely.
expecting. That is sort of their MO. The one thing I wanted to follow up on was the weird draft trade between the Islanders and Chicago Blackhawks that broke during the thing.
Oh, do we have a follow-up there?
The follow-up is nobody. So Scott Powers and Arthur Staple put together an article.
Okay.
And what they say is they don't say it quite as explicitly, but they're like, it could be this, it could be that, it could be so many things.
Okay.
One thing they did bring up, which could make sense for this deal, still doesn't make sense for Chicago for me, but the reason the Islanders might want to get a second rounder is they're looking at guys like J.G. Pajot, who's got 2 years and $5 million remaining, and Anders Lee with 2 years and $7 million each year, that they may want to move. And maybe they have to provide a sweetener as a part of the deal. Now, Pajot has had a good year, and I think Anders Lee had an okay year. But I'm wondering if they're trying to get value back, and you add that second rounder as sweetener, and then it becomes a bit better. Like, I don't know how Pajot's play, but I can tell you, at his best, that's a good defensive center.
Pajot and who's the other one?
Anders Lee.
How do you think they look on the Leafs power play next year?
You think the Leafs are going to do a deal with the Isles? I wouldn't mind Pajot as a centerman for the Leafs. I wouldn't. I just don't know how he skates. But his
Anders Lee
ice
joining
time,
John Tavares would be very funny.
it would.
It's not going to happen. But
Pajot, it's interesting to note under Patrick Waugh, his minutes were down at least 2 minutes on average throughout the entire year. So he was playing 17 minutes under Lane Lambert, now 15:54 under Patrick Waugh. So
I think someone needs to, on the other side of that trade, based on everything that's come out, someone needs to tell Kyle Davidson, you don't need to trade up for a draft to get somebody, because that's what it seems like he did, when you don't know who was drafted yet.
Yeah.
Wait till the draft has happened and the draft is actively happening to know where the pieces fall and the players are being taken to move up.
So I think you guys
did a bad job here, Kyle.
So
No, I think you guys are looking at a bowl of cake mix and going, I can't serve this at a wedding. It's not done.
Okay, and everybody keeps saying that, but I don't think there's anything more. I think he wants to move up in the draft, and he said, oh, yeah, I'll do that now.
So we did it in
So
May?
what they said, what Scott Powers says is Chicago saw its value in trading up 2 spots in the first round and 4 spots in the second round, while the Blackhawks gave up the 61st pick. It was late enough in the second round that they believed there was more benefit to moving up in the draft than waiting and using that pick.
I think that's exactly the case. I think he wanted to move up, and he did it 2 months in advance.
It also helped Chicago to have 2 early third-round selections, which they do. Instead of drafting 61st, 67th, and 72nd, they'll now have only the 2 latter picks. I don't know.
Bad move.
So
I don't love it.
We know next to shit all about this human being, Lou Lamoriello.
Oh, yeah. The most I know about Lou Lamoriello comes via Brian Burke's book.
And Alan Walsh.
And Alan, Alan will occasionally has like, well, lose this and lose that. Whatever.
He told us about his baseball tenure.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. That's so crazy, too.
Lou
needs to write a book.
Lou started in baseball.
Played for the Cleveland Clean Shavens or whatever they were called. There was, I'll work on it. I'll workshop it. The Brian Burke book contains 75-80% of the things I know about Lou Lamoriello.
Yep.
There was a deal that Burke got killed on in a trade that he made with Lou. And the guy Burke got was just not good. And Burke called Lou and he was like, Lou, what the hell? Like, you gave me this guy. And Lou goes, hey, you called me.
For that
player. Because Burke's staff liked that player. I don't remember who it was. You asked for this player. Don't come complaining to me. You asked for this player. And this trade is giving me those vibes.
Do you think Davidson had itchy feet and he was just like, he probably called every team in the top 15 and said, can we do something?
Well, okay. What do we know about Lou? If you have time, use it. He's not using it. And there was the the perspective of, well, here's why Chicago might do this deal. It's starting to look more and more like Chicago is the team that initiated this move.
Yeah. And Lou
Based on
took
what we know.
advantage of a guy who was impatient.
He took advantage of a guy he's like 40 years older than.
Yeah, that's what it feels
Maybe
like.
more.
Well, I mean, that
How old
is what
is Kyle
experience
Davidson?
gives you.
Yeah. How old is... Okay.
By the way, Kyle Davidson also started in baseball.
Oh, really?
Pretty sure, yeah. He came over from baseball.
I think you have him confused with the other guy who started in baseball.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you did this before.
I thought he had started in
Stupid!
baseball.
Yeah, no, Kyle Davidson interned for the Ottawa Senators. That was his early gig.
Intern.
Idiot.
Yeah.
It was somebody else. There was
somebody else within the... You did this before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Hey.
glad someone has a memory.
How old is he? Because Lou
Oh,
is
Kyle
81.
Davidson, age 35.
I'm older than Kyle Davidson?
Yes.
And what have you done?
Nothing. So this is Christmas. He's... Wait. So if Kyle Davidson... When Kyle Davidson is twice as old as he is now, he will still be 11 years younger than Lou Lamoriello is now. So wait, what's the gap there? 35 plus 11, 36,
what are you
46. Lou Lamoriello is 46 years older than this man.
Yeah.
What math are you trying? I wasn't following.
That's
Sorry.
insane.
Yep.
Oh, there's a neat little wrinkle. Kyle Davidson, every year on free agency, has to work on his birthday. And I think that's interesting.
So every signing is his birthday gift.
So wait, he was born July 1st, 1988. You're telling me, I thought it was interesting. You're telling me that we would have gone to the same grade together? That's crazy. That's nuts to me. What else could I think? That's a great question.
What does Steve think?
Well, it would be me, Adam, and Kyle Davidson all in the same class.
Yep.
Just a bunch of 1988 babies. We are the same. I think he makes more.
Are you upset that Kyle Davidson is general manager of the Chicago Blackhawks and you're Steve Dangle, esteemed author and podcaster and YouTuber?
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't be.
I think you should be very happy.
I think you should be very happy with what you've accomplished.
Yeah.
I'm a bum. He served as an assistant equipment manager with the Sudbury Junior Wolves of the Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League, the NOJHL. So he would have been... Oh, okay. Anyway.
We're just reading his Wikipedia page.
Let's do the press conference here. Let's get into the press conference.
Okay.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
I threw news and notes at you guys. Do you have any thoughts on... I know you didn't have any thoughts on Winnipeg hiring a head coach.
Good
but
for him.
Do you have any thoughts on Will Smith declaring that he's going to be on the San Jose Sharks next season and signing his entry-level deal?
I think that means the Sharks are a player in free agency this year. Because you can't, by the way, great, sexy destination. I also think that, where there's smoke, there's fire. We have to watch out for that Leon Draisaitl thing, that connection. You have to. You have to.
Where there's smoke, there's leverage to stay in Edmonton.
Yeah, whatever.
That's all that I think is going to happen.
You still have to look at it.
Oh, of course.
You just have to stare. I think that the San Jose Sharks, the Utah hockey team, and a couple of others could come in and spend wildly.
Oh, yeah.
And on players that so you expect teams like the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are right up against the cap, although they have a ton of cap space to spend this year, to go and like, how can I find this guy at veteran minimum?
Yes.
To play, how can I find Noah Gregor? This year, it's going to be more competitive than ever because you don't have an Arizona Coyotes team that is not trying. You have another team that's going to probably spend the cap with Utah now, right?
Isn't that nuts?
And then
You have a league where all 32 teams are trying.
so depth guys, your Ilya Lyubushkins, your Joel Edmondsons, their money just went up because if you're willing to do the Radko Gudas, come to my team. It's sunny, it's beautiful, and we don't expect much.
I mean,
Like,
you need to...
and it's not to. I'm not denigrating Radko Gudas. Good for him, making his money, hanging out in the sunshine, and protecting the young players. That's great. What a role for him. But my point is, these guys that you're expecting, like people, if you talk to people who are like, oh, you re-sign Ilya Lyubushkin, what's he going to cost? Well,
Too much.
Oh, it's like $1 million. No, Ilya was making like $275.
Yeah, dude, he's going to make at least 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody was shocked, gobsmacked by Luke Shen, myself included, last year. And I go, now I think about it, I'm like, I'd have paid him that.
Well, we talked about how good he was for several months, and then we're like, but they're paying him money?
$3 million. They're giving him term?
Yeah.
And he was great again in Nashville. So I think that means that Jesse, that's what I think it means. I think that the market for players below the middle class just went up.
The Sharks stink. And that's the truth.
Yep.
Sharks truth are here. They stink. But they also don't really have realistic prospects of not stinking anytime soon. The Ducks, I always rip on, but I could see it.
Nah.
No. Wait, though. What they've done in recent years, they gave too much money to Radko Gudas. They gave too much money to Alex Killorn. They that Ryan Strome contract was always confusing to me.
It was.
They kept Frank Vetrano. So they're bad, but they got young players coming up, and they want veterans to be there for when they're ready to not be bad anymore. San Jose doesn't really have that.
Yep.
They don't really have that. You need to fork over some dough. You gotta find a guy like Nick Foligno, who is in Chicago playing on such a bad team. Such a damn bad team. But they're like, we're going to staple you to Connor Bedard, and you're his keeper. And in your final year with us,
we'll trade you to a playoff team.
We'll trade you to a contender, and we'll do whatever we got to do to pull that off.
John Gibson has how many years left on his deal, Steve?
I think 4.
3.
3. Okay. Still bad.
It's bad. But I want to ask you guys about John Gibson. Is John Gibson bad? Or are the Ducks really just bad? And it's not fair to his numbers. Keeping in mind, Simon Benoit.
Dude, it's been so many years of us having this conversation. Like, what if the ship sailed? I don't know. I don't doubt that he could give you like league average goaltending on a really good team, but like he's been on a bad team for so long, I have no idea.
Okay. You're not moving that deal, but I'm just asking. His save percentage this year was .888.
I don't think it's impossible.
Jesse's.
I don't think it's
That's not
impossible.
great.
I wouldn't be shocked to see him move.
Okay.
We got a question from This Is Colin.
Hi, Colin.
Colin writes, how do we feel about all the embellishment calls this playoffs? And how is it embellishment if there's another penalty called? Or are they just using it to give out 4-on-4s so they don't affect the game?
No. This happened. This is an Oiler fan.
Oh, okay. All right.
Wait, is it an Oiler fan or is it a Dallas fan? Who got the cross-check and immediately there was cross-check and...
Embellishment?
Yeah, this is somebody in the... I can't remember this. Let me pull up game.
Okay.
Let me pull it up. So who got penalties at the same time?
I do feel like
Marchman
this playoffs, there's more embellishments. Or more guys diving?
That's a Dallas fan.
Okay.
But yes, there are. And I don't know if you guys saw the Zach Hyman Mason Marchment thing where Zach Hyman objectively cross-checked Mason Marchment, and Mason Marchment clearly listens to the podcast and said, I'm going to play dead.
I'm dead now.
And so like, but not only did he die, because it was a cross-check to the back, but it wasn't a big one. He stayed on the ice and all of a sudden popped back up, and the ref's like, and what I had to try to explain to Dallas fans, and they were not thrilled with me about this, was referees have pride. And they do not enjoy being made a fool of, because what they see it as is a sign of disrespect. You are trying to get one over on me. I'm trying to do a job, and you're trying to make me look bad.
I don't think it's difficult to fool them because
It isn't, because it's a fast game.
Because it's a fast game. It's not against the refs. It's legitimately, for as much as I criticize them, it's an impossible friggin' job. And I don't think it's hard to pull off, earn a penalty.
And I want to say this. I don't understand how people don't understand how you can have a penalty and an unsportsmanlike or diving call on the same. I don't understand how you don't get that. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but usually when you have a dive, it is somebody trying to sell something that's an objective call to make sure that they go on the power play. So most of the time when a diving call is made, it's the infraction beforehand should probably also be called. It'd be rare that you'd see a diving call and that's the only call. It's rare.
It'll never happen in the playoffs, but I think refs should have the option. I don't know if they do, but they should have the option. If they think you embellished, out of the game. I'm dead serious.
No, that's part of gamesmanship. I think that's. I did think.
Yeah, but like embellishing a little. All right, fine. If you dove, like you manufactured something, like I'm talking a puck, a stick didn't hit you, and you leave your feet and grab your face, out of the game.
So Chris Kreider tried to throw Matthew Tkachuk's mouth guard into the crowd,
which was objectively
and
fine.
that would have booted him from the game.
That's a game misconduct if it went over the glass, but he failed. Yeah.
So supposedly Friedge and Merrick were talking about that today on 32 Thoughts. No shot.
Yeah. No.
Absolutely no shot. They kick Chris Kreider out of a playoff game for throwing a mouth guard.
By definition, yeah. Okay. That's what the rule book says. By referee being like, oh, I didn't see that. He's not getting thrown out.
See, fans know the referees by name now. Fans know the refs by name now.
Yeah,
we know you. We know what you. Ask Vancouver fans how they feel about Kelly Sutherland. It's been 13 years. And and by the way, they still have not won a game in the playoffs with him reffing, which is bonkers. It's like 0-9-2 or something. It's outrageous.
No
it's
way.
Crazy. And he's from Richmond.
Steve, did you notice this on your stream? I think it was at the end of the second or first period. I'm not sure if it was second or if we were going into the intermission. Sam Reinhart was entering the zone. I think it was him. I'm foggy memory on this. And he punches Jacob Trouba as the whistle goes.
That was the end of the first.
End of the first. He just punches him right in the face.
He did what Bennett did.
And the referee is standing there and he goes, Trouba, get over here. He punched you in the face. You can't punch a human in the face.
Yeah, you can.
It's a penalty on the ice. Like, it's illegal against the rules. But in that case, the ref's like, I'm not going to call this. I'm not going to call the punch in the face by Reinhart at the end of the period. So you just ignore it. You tell Trouba to go to the dressing room and you move on.
No, the most dangerous part of that whole exchange was the ref having the door open and being 1 foot off the ice for the final 10 seconds. Because the Panthers took 3 penalties.
Because they can.
And they went, guys, like, I got to piss. Like, I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
I got a piss. I ate a rotten oyster. Like I don't know what it was, but it was like hold, trip, punch in the face. All right, you guys,
go to your locker rooms. I need to eat a banana.
Sam, Jacob, break it up. And Trouba's like, okay, I know force of habit, but did you see how I didn't do anything?
Right.
Like,
he's like, I know I'm Jacob Trouba. My elbows are going everywhere, but I still got punched in the face. Can you at least call it? And the ref's like, no, I couldn't do that.
But same breath, Trouba's not going to complain about it too much because, like, I may have to call in a favor.
He wants one on the other end the next time. Yeah.
Which is hockey's going backwards.
Yeah.
Like, I know people keep talking about back in the day. I've watched hockey very intensely over the last few years for a living. It's going backward.
There's no shot anybody gets kicked out for the mouth guard thing in the playoffs.
Zero.
Not happening.
No, because that's brave.
Yeah.
To quote NHL referees on Twitter. So that would be brave. We don't want to do that. These are brave calls.
Last thing here. Last night, pregame Steve, I was playing NHL 24 as I always do. A little series called One Since 67, our quest to win 1 Stanley Cup for the Toronto Maple Leafs since 1967. If you are not up to date, we are in the Stanley Cup final. It is 2-1 in the series at this point where the video's on the screen. And there's 2:49 left in the third period. The score is 4-3 for the Leafs. And Mitch Marner, William Nylander, and Austin Matthews are still on the team. And they have a moment here that I'd like to play for you guys.
Okay. I love video games.
Seconds away from potentially doing a thing.
Who's this host?
And that thing is getting one game.
Ew, Mitch.
To the Stanley Cup. Mitch Marner did it. Over to Austin. Over to Willie. Mitch, Willie, Austin. Steal it. Bang. Stanley Cup. 1 win away. No way. Boys, hell yeah! And that's the music. That's the Olay we always play. I'll let that run out. But Mitch to Austin to Willie to seal the 5-3 victory to become 1 win away from the Stanley Cup. That's currently what's happening in our franchise mode. It was a special moment with the entire stream last night. There's a little stream, the goal graphics we got.
Very nice,
on.
Jesse. Good graphics.
we're 1 win away. And the most requested thing that anybody has ever asked for, I don't think it's possible for you to do it, Steve, but is an LFR for the Stanley Cup winning goal. So I'm not going to request that.
Ooh.
But Adam,
Yes.
the second most requested thing is if
Feet related, I'm assuming.
if you will join a stream for if we do the thing, you know, in the next clinching game. So the next stream is either going to be we blow a 3-1 lead
Oh my God. No!
to lose the Stanley Cup final, or we win one of the next 3 games.
Okay.
Can we find a day to have the next stream where one of the two of you or both of you can join?
I can't do Friday because it's my daughter's birthday. So I
Saturday.
actually
Lame.
can't.
Saturday.
I'd have to bring my equipment up to. My wife would kill me. My wife would. She would literally. My testicles would be removed.
You're going
from
up
my
to the
body.
cottage?
I am for Everly's birthday party, which is supposed to be Saturday.
Are you not streaming this weekend?
I am Friday and Sunday.
And Sunday from the cottage.
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're
no,
coming
Friday,
back
I'm
down?
staying here.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go up after the stream on Friday. And then I'm going to come back Sunday so we can be there in time for Everly's swimming lessons because everything revolves around her. And then Sunday night,
You're back here.
I'm
doing
back
the
in it.
stream.
I'm back in the studios, the worldwide STPN studios.
It looks like it'll
Rodney.
be next Tuesday or something like that.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
We'll all
sorry.
be so look
It's
out
only
for the
because it's
date.
Everly's birthday. I'm sorry.
No, I'm gonna delay this
Selfish.
3-1 loss or Stanley Cup victory until you guys can join me on one of these, and we'll find a date in the next week or 2 weeks, whenever it has to be, and we will all maybe celebrate the greatest collapse ever or the greatest victory ever.
Jesse, I want you to know I appreciate you wearing a suit.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's great.
I'm the general manager of the team.
Yes.
How could I not wear a suit to the building?
I know. It's true. It's true. I like that. Are you calling out fans too, like Kyle Dubas in 2023?
Yeah, are you screaming
Yelling
at Lightning fans?
If the chat is some fans, then yes.
Yeah, I
Then
like
yes.
that. I like that. Man, that's great. That was
Yeah,
exciting.
so
I got goosebumps.
I almost cried seeing Austin, Willie,
It's
and,
been a lot
and
of seasons
Mitch.
for you, man.
No, seeing those 3 get it done in the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
Just to dream about it being real. Tears to my eyes.
Damn. Well, listen, that's 5-on-5 leader in a potential assist, Mitch Marner to you.
Potential assist.
Okay.
Expected assist
Expected
per
assist.
60.
That looked a lot like Willie's goal from Game 7 against Boston.
Oh, baby. All right.
All
So we're going to wrap it up. Don't forget, Boston Pizza live stream tonight. By the time you've listened to this, the stream might be over. But hey, listen to it if you can. Watch it if you can. And then VIP coming out soon. And then we got Steve's stream tomorrow night. And we got my stream on Friday. That's a lot of
Just
fun.
subscribe and you'll know it.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.